down, to come to a crossroads and to choose the wrong direction. No matter how many precautions you take, no matter how many maps you have, you will misread the road signs. You'll blow it again and again. Some days it'll seem like it's all you're capable of doing. You'll spend nights wide awake counting every mistake you've made, like signs on a highway on a long road trip. They're endless, bleak, and it's usually just something to do to distract you from the road ahead of you. You see, we all have dark closets filled with our mistakes and haunting regret, difficult to forget, never mind forgive. We regret making fun of someone we thought was weaker than us, taunting that kid we liked on that brand new plastic playground. We regret going to parties, meeting certain people, saying stupid things, declining or accepting offers given to us, all of which leads you to thoughts of, I should have known better. Should have read the signs better. The signs of fear, regret, of better choices, but you didn't. So you create a standard for yourself, and you hold your past self and those past mistakes to that same standard. We can't forgive our past self because the person we are today would be disgusted by someone who could make those same mistakes. Do we deserve forgiveness? After doing something truly horrible, after hurting someone, do we? Do I deserve forgiveness for the things I've done? Who decides if we do? After the day is done, after the mistake is made, the battle is over, after everyone else has moved on, how do you pick up the pieces? How do you reach divinity? How do you forgive yourself? I'm not here to talk about self-love or digging yourself out of a dark hole. I'm not here to try to teach you how to save the planet or how to achieve your dreams. I'm not here for the people who can convince themselves that they've done no real wrong, people who can make excuses and sleep soundly at night. I'm here for every single person who has made a mistake, who has erred in their judgment. I'm here for the people who have seen the monster in themselves and taken a punch from it. My monster is self-loathing. A self-loathing that hit me hard and fast the summer before grade 8 that I'm only now starting to shake off. I was a friendly and outgoing kid who spent her nights at home alone with a screwdriver to old pencil sharpeners for those small metal blades. I thought I was disgustingly fat, that I was too loud and too obnoxious, and that I would never be beautiful in the way I wanted to be. I think anyone who has been in that same mental state knows that having someone there who understands is invaluable. Someone who can be your hand to hold in the darkness. Someone you can talk to and never feel judged by or mocked or dismissed as a creep. Someone who will keep your self-loathing a secret and never use it against you. I met someone my first few months at Hamber who was that hand in the darkness for me. For convenience, I'll refer to them as X for the rest of this talk. X and I became fast friends. We opened up to each other about the pain we were both struggling with inside of us. It was the basic foundation of our friendship, the hatred that we felt about ourselves. It was all we talked about, the only real thing that we had in common. We were two deeply unhappy people who fed off of each other's unhappiness. We became best friends to the point where we were inseparable because there was some sort of strange happiness in our unhappiness, a sense of satisfaction in the pain that we sustained in each other. friendship was never easy. X and I put each other down constantly. If one had something awful to say about themselves, the other would agree. What sort of friendship is built upon... Do I look ugly today? Ooh, girl. Yes, you do. A toxic one that'll destroy both parties quickly and messily. We were obsessed with ourselves and our self-hatred, and in turn, we became obsessed with each other. We became each other's whole entire worlds, our codependency taking over our lives. The bubble that we had built together popped when the adults in our lives found out exactly what was happening. If we were drowning in a wave pool before that, now we were trying to swim across an ocean. My parents told me to sever the relationship, and they put me in a cramped room without any windows, with a small Filipino woman with a kind face. I made a choice in that cramped room, one that I called selfish, for a long time afterwards. I chose to give up. Not on myself, but on X. To save myself, I felt I had to grasp the lifebuoy offered to me in that room and let X drown alone. So I ghosted X, stopped communicating with them, avoided them in the hallways, didn't respond to messages on any social platform that X tried to contact me on. I didn't give reason for what I was doing. Just left. I abandoned X in a dark time in both our lives. I knew X was suicidal. I knew intimately the struggle X was going through. I had been in it with X, emotionally embraced it, but now I was too scared for myself to do anything about it, so I was mean. I was selfish. X was in so much pain, and I made it worse. I work at a summer camp where I look after kids who have no sense of dangerous and safe situations, and yet I have never felt like I held a person's life in my hands the way I did that grade 8 year when X made those suicide attempts. I believed it was my fault for the state that X was in. I was being selfish, hurting them in a way that they didn't deserve to be. I was betraying everything that we had promised to each other. The school year ended with me stressed, guilty, and still deeply unhappy. I spent months trying to figure out how to just forget whole event. I was told by people who had heard the story that X was the monster, an emotionally manipulative assailant, and that I was the victim. How was I supposed to recover from the scars that X helped to inflict? But I knew how it really was. I should have been better for X, should have taken better care of both of us. I should have spoken up sooner and not let it get to the place it did. I should have stood up for myself, should have had the self-confidence to convince both of us to choose another road, shouldn't have let it get to the point where school counselors and liaison officers were involved. These are my regrets. If I could do it all over again, do it better. Fast forward 4 years. I am no longer that 13-year-old kid who hated every inch of her skin. I am, however, someone who spends a lot of time thinking about what I could have done, how I could have made things better, dealt with the situations better, how I could have been better for everyone involved. It feels like I can barely live with the choices I made. I have spent these past 4 years trying to learn how to love myself do it again. The question really is, should I? What if none of that had ever happened? Who would I be now? If I hadn't met X at all, if I hadn't let our friendship get to the point it did, would we be better off or worse? If I had done everything I could to get X help, would that have saved them or just pushed them off the edge? We all have crossroads in our lives. Mistakes that we made that define us for the rest of our lives because we let them to turn left or right, to make the right choice or the wrong one. And when we make the wrong one because we will, how do you move on? Picking up the pieces after that grade 8 year was tough. X was never successful in their suicide attempts, but I still felt like a monster who had costed another person their life. I'm here for the people who have seen the monster in themselves and taken a punch from it. How you're gonna move on and be a better person because of it. You just keep counting those road signs speeding past you. Forgiveness is painful. It's nights crying and cursing. Forgiveness is hating yourself for months. You made a choice, you turned left, you missed the exit, and the car crashed. How are you supposed to forgive yourself when you crash the car with your best friend in the passenger seat? The answer, I don't know. I'm still learning. Some days, I feel like I can't get out of that car wreck on the side of the road. Like my life paused there, and every day after has been a coma dream. But it's when I tell the story, when I exhale, I let go of it a little more. I move on a little more. Some days, I think about that time in my life, and it doesn't hurt anymore. Some days, I look in the mirror and I see a beautiful girl with light in her eyes, and I forgive her. I want to tell you something right now. You deserve forgiveness. Whatever mistakes you made, whoever you hurt, whatever you did, they were meant to happen. As cliche as that sounds, the roads we take, the cars we have to replace, they lead us to the people we are destined to be. Whichever direction you go, left, right, up, or down, it will take you to your final destination. Sometime soon, I want you to look into that mirror. I want you to look into that mirror, and I want you to see exactly what I see. Someone beautiful who deserves forgiveness. Without X, without the choices that led me to them, I think I still might be in that dark hole. Maybe X was the catalyst I needed to set me on this road to recovery. Without them, without the months afterwards, I don't think I could be up here talking to you today. I constantly compare the person I was then to the person I am now. How am I better? How am I worse? But something that I forget too often is that I am who I am today because of those mistakes that I hate myself for. I am caring. I am empathetic. I am experienced because of those choices. The standards that I hold myself to and every future choice I make are in place because of those left turns. Does choices of yesterday stop you from reaching tomorrow. Let them carry you. Our battered suitcases were piled on the sidewalk again. We had longer ways to go.